Here we are at Photography Show 2022.
In the NEC Birmingham, we are in front of the Nikon stand right now. We're going to walk around, do some interviews, see some old friends and let you know how it goes.
Birmingham.
A man who needs no introduction, really.
Apparently.
This is Rishi. So tell us, what's Nikon School been up to lately?
Yeah, I mean, we've been quite busy. Obviously, summer for us is a really interesting time because it either means that we get lots of interest in loads of different landscape courses, but it also means that we're in situations where people are on holiday. So it's kind of a mixed crowd, but we've had some really interesting courses, especially around Iceland. There's obviously a lot of stuff that's been happening in Iceland recently. But yeah, there's some really interesting things going on. And that's just mean that we've been so super busy, and we're obviously still doing a lot of online stuff as well. So
that's great. And you and Neil, you go out, or do you have
It varies. So there's some things that Neil do, there's some things that I'll do by myself, and then there's some things that we'll do together. So it just depends on where we're going and what else we've got on at the same time.
Yeah.
There's a lot of cool stuff that we're working on behind the scenes as well, which is why we're so busy. But yeah, it's an interesting time.
So we're on the last day of the show.
Yeah.
So what's been your kind of highlight for this weekend?
I think the key things really are just seeing lots of people again. So like Sunday for us has probably, I think, been the busiest day so far. I've not seen any numbers or anything, but just judging by people going past. Also, it was when I was doing most of my talks.
Yeah.
So always really interesting to get out and kind of talk to people. It's always great when everyone comes up and says hello and says thanks for the stuff that we do. So that always means a lot. So I'm really appreciative of that. But yeah, it's just been really good to meet people again. And this is also obviously the first time that a lot of people have been able to see the Z9 at a show.
Yeah.
This is also the time that they've been able to see the 400-2.8 and the 800, and obviously the new 400 4.5. So there's a lot of new stuff that people want to try and get hands on with, and there's generally a lot of questions that people have about all that new stuff as well.
Yeah, so. I haven't seen a 400 4.5. So.
I've got one over there, so I can grab you one.
Excellent.
Yeah.
We will go and have a look at that.
You're holding 400mm lens.
I am. Do you want to hold it?
Does it have a special place in your heart?
It does now.
Yeah.
I was actually just explaining that to Becky, that I'm currently working on a lot of stuff with this lens because initially, when I had a pre-production unit, I was neither a bit here nor there really about whether I like this over the 500 PF, but now that I've got my production unit and I spend a lot more time with it, it's a lens that I've really kind of fallen in love with and use a lot more than I ever thought I would. So
tell us, for people who have 500 PF lens,
yeah,
why this lens is better? What may sway them to upgrade to this one?
Obviously, it's going to come down to what your subject is. There is still an advantage of going to a 500 versus a 400, right? But fundamentally, especially if you're a Z series user, and if you're a Z user that is in a situation where you are exclusive Z, you just get so much extra from using this lens on your cameras versus through the 500 PF with the FTZ. But for me, the size, the weight of it, the quality is what kind of really caught me out when I got the production unit. So
it does feel incredibly light.
Yeah.
And the thing is, 500 is quite small as well, but you hold in this and it almost feels like 300 f4e in a way, so, you know, it's pretty cool. Obviously, we've had quite a few announcements this year. Are you excited for the future?
Yeah, I think Nikon's in a really great place with everything they've launched so far. Obviously, there's a couple of lenses on our roadmap that people are still waiting for, and they want to be really excited about getting those hands on those lenses. And I appreciate that as well, because, I have particular lenses that I'm really excited about using and looking forward to. So yeah, I think the future for what's available from Nikon, what's available in the Z system as a whole is really exciting. So
Nikon just updated their roadmap.
Yeah, today,
What is the new lens on that list that excites you personally?
Probably the 135.
135?
Yeah. I've never really been a fan of 35mm, unfortunately. I'd much prefer 28. So I absolutely love the 28 2.8. But the 135 is super interesting, especially if you're doing relatively close, kind of low light wildlife. 135 is a great focal length for that. So,
and I'm sure bokeh is going to be amazing.
Hopefully.
Thank you.
Sweet.
So here I have the new 17 to 28 2.8 just a first look at this lens. It's very light. Haven't put it on a camera yet. I'm going to go and put it on a camera on the Nikon stand.
You do that.
Over there. Good energy on the Nikon stand. We've managed to be at the Nikon stand for the last hour, so now we're gonna go and look at some other stuff. Come with me.
And here we have it, folks. Becky found something.
Cyanotypes.
Cyanotypes.
Look, as a lover of photographic history, the first actual photographic prints on paper were made with this process, which is why it's so exciting.
That's true, but no one is interested on that on YouTube, Becky. So,
so let's go look at modern things. Here I am with our good friend Paul from Analog Wonderland. You may remember him from another YouTube from Analog Wonderland. So Paul, I'm holding this camera, but
That's the clue.
That's the clue. But what has been the most popular product for you recently?
It is definitely some of these cameras. So this is definitely one of them. It's a lovely little 35mm that is called ultra wide and slim, and that is literally what it does. Wide angle, but slim to hold.
Love it.
The other one, which I know you're a fan of, Becky, is the half frame. And I think what people love about these is they're so compact. Like this one is literally pocket sized, even in jeans. Like you put it in a blazer pocket. And this one's tiny as well. This one's obviously the half frame, so you can shoot a load of film.
So I have the sand colored one, and I managed to shoot my entire holiday on one roll of film because it was 72 frames. So there you go. The show's been good for you?
Show's been really good. Like, we didn't know what to expect. This is the first time we've had this much space, and we had no idea what it'd be like. But actually, it's been really good. There's been loads of people who have been really excited to see film at the show. Lots of comments like, I can't remember the last time I could buy rolls of film here, which is lovely. So that's been really, really nice. And we're next to Ilford, which is really cool. There's a little analog showcase like there was last time. So there's a whole like sort of film community gathering point. And obviously on Saturday night, we all went to the pub straight afterwards.
Community.
It's mostly about the pub.
Becky is a big spender. She's a...
But I don't know which one to get. Should I
Buy
get...
them all. You gotta catch them all.
Gotta catch them all. One of each color.
Tell us about SheClicks, Becky.
So SheClicks is actually an all-female photography group, and they have a Facebook group. They also have a kind of Instagram community. They do talks and webinars, and it's all female-based. So all of these photographs were taken by women photographers.
So can I join Becky?
No. Look what I have just spotted in the wild. Smooth. I believe this is actually the Sony version of the 70-300, but it's going to be the same format basically in size as the Nikon Z mount that we're expecting very soon. This is Lee from Delkin. Hello, Lee.
Hiya, how are you?
Good. How's the show been for you?
It's really good, it's really busy. It's nice to see that it is back to being quite busy again.
How are the black cards sort of faring with the Z9s, etc.?
Really well. So obviously we've seen a firmware update with the Z9 recently, and the new capacity of the black cards, so like the odd capacities like the 75, the 150, 325, they were all done with that firmware update in mind, and actually they should be future-proof against any kind of future updates that we know about recently.
Good news for those Delkin users and Z9 users.
Here we are with Sam from Sigma. Obviously Sigma's got a lot of F-mount lenses, but tell us, Sam, we'll see Z-mount lenses.
Oh, I do hope so. I know our CEO and the factory are very aware of the demand of the Z mount. We have so many customers here asking for it as well. We've got our fingers crossed. We're just waiting for that confirmation.
This is James from Transcontinental. They do Peak Design. They are our supplier for Peak, but they're also our supplier for Tamron, which you know what that means. We're going to be seeing a Z70-300
Yes.
imminently.
Yes.
James, tell me, are you excited about this lens?
Genuinely, yes. Yeah, if I had a pound for every time somebody asked me for a Z mount lens, I'd probably be quite wealthy.
Yes.
We've been doing obviously photography show a number of years, and there's Z mount's been out a little while now, and we've not had any offering until now. So the 70-300 obviously announced very recently, and I think stock is expected in very early October, so it's not long.
Excellent. We cannot wait.
Yeah,
really.
it's quite exciting. I'm hopeful that it will be the first of many.
What's hot on the Peak stand?
What isn't hot on the Peak stand? More recently, Peak announced and released some of the mobile mounts. So on display, we've got some of the handlebar mounts here for motorbikes, and some of the other accessories here as well. So
Very cool.
That's been pretty interesting. No, it's been a good show, really busy, and plenty to talk about and plenty to show off.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Cheers.
So, what did you think of the show?
Well, it's bigger than last year,
For
first of all. A lot more people. It was closed on Monday. Now we got people split over Sunday and Tuesday. We got a massive analog section that we appreciate.
We do.
Lots of photographers, lots of Nikon cameras around, which was something that the internet doesn't tell us. Apparently on the internet everyone's using Sony, but actually seeing real people in the flesh, the photographers, the visitors.
Yeah.
Lots of Nikon cameras in there.
Lots of Nikon cameras. I saw almost no Sony cameras, to be completely honest, except for on the Sony stand. I'm not joking.
Shots fired.
I'm being serious. We'd like to say a big thank you to everyone who did an interview with us today, everyone who did an interview off camera with us today, and everyone that came by and said hello and thanked us for being here.
Absolutely, it was great to see you all.
It really, really was.
Oh, Richie, where's Z8? Where's Z8, Richie? Come
Where's
on.
what?
Z8.
Where's the what now?
The what?
Yeah. Where's Z8?
Come on.
No? Okay.
Birmingham, Birmingham, Birmingham,
Birmingham, do 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 do.
Birmingham, boo boo, Birmingham, boo boo, boo boo, boo boo, boo boo, boo boo.